Hello everyone. I will do a presentation about HTTP security headers. Who is already using the HTTP security headers in the website? Or who isn't? Who isn't? Yeah, you don't say, because the author of this plugin is Thomas, Tobias Zulauf, and he's sitting here, so you don't dare to say. Actually, he made it for Joomla 4, and also because it was not in Joomla 3, and there was a feature freeze in Joomla 3, so he made a backport that was available on the extension directory. So you can also do this already in Joomla 3 with his plugin. So in this presentation I will tell something about the HTTP security headers, what it is, and then I will tell about all the headers that they are, and I will do a demo how to configure it for your own website. So first of all, the HTTP security headers. It's a sort of metadata between the server and the client, in this case your browser. Your browser, if you visit the website, your browser will get an HTTP status like 200 if everything goes okay, or 404 when the page doesn't exist. So there are general headers like the date and also cache control, and you also have some sort of request headers that are for user agents and also for the cookie. You also have response headers for the content type, and entity headers for the content encoding, content language, and also last modified. And of course the security headers that I will tell you about in this presentation. And if you want, you can also create your own headers. Your custom headers, for instance, you can communicate a password, Open Sesame, to browsers. It's totally insecure, you should not do it. But you can do everything with this stuff. So if you have Google Chrome, but probably also in Firefox, but if you have Google Chrome, go to Inspect or press F12, go to Network, and then check your HTML page, and then you can see the headers. So, for instance, if I go to this website, this is the website of my local Joomla user group. I can press F12 and I get the networks tab over here. Then I have to press F5 because I have to load the page again. And when it's there, you can see there is a status 200 OK, which is the status header. And if you look further, you can see no cache here. Here is X-frame options is one of those, and XSS protection, the scroll-side scripting protection. These are security headers that are communicated. So the security headers are an extra security measure from a browser or a server. From a server or a website to the browser, and they state what you in the browser can expect from the website. And it's for extra security. If you are doing this kind of stuff, switch off your cache. Otherwise, you are looking to a page that is from the past, and maybe you already changed all your settings. Switch all the cache off. I have some information on a website called thebestwebsite.com. It's also in German, diebestewebsite.de, and also a couple of other languages. And there is more information about the security headers. If I click on it, it's yeah, I explain all those headers here. But now I will do it live. A very useful website to check your security headers is securityheaders.com. It's a website made by someone who has very much knowledge about this, and you can put your website here. So I have my own website. If I do a scan over here, I have A, which is okay. A+ is better. And you can see here some warnings. It gives a warning that the content security policy, I use it, but I will tell about it. But it's not really the safest way that I used it. I will tell you also, explain why I did it this way. So securityheaders.com is the website to use to check your headers. There's also a website called observatory.mozilla.org, and there you can do something similar. So there are multiple places where you can switch on security headers, where you communicate them. If you have a VPS, so you have multiple sites on a server, the best way is to do it in the VPS itself. You can also use htaccess if you have an Apache web server. Then you do it per website locally. You can do it in PHP. You can even do it in HTML, but there you only can configure the content security policy, or use the Joomla core plugin, which is called HTTP headers. So if you do it in the server, if you have Nginx, you put this line in the configuration, and it will communicate top secret level. It's just a joke. It doesn't work like this, but something similar like this. The same with the htaccess. You do something like this, and then it will communicate this header. So if you do it in PHP, you can communicate it with header, and then the header itself. And with HTML, you can do it with a meta tag. This is probably one of the easiest way. It's in a Joomla plugin. So if you go to System, Plugins, and then System Plugins, it's the HTTP header plugin. That's a bit difficult to read, but I will go there in a minute. There is a plugin for Google Chrome. It's called the Content Security Policy Generator, which might help you a bit. I found it a bit difficult, so I did it just by myself. It takes a lot of time, but with Google Chrome and the inspect, you can just solve everything. So the headers. These are the headers that are communicated using the HTTP security headers. So I will talk about all those in short. So first of all, the X-frame options. So let's assume you have a really nice website, a Joomla website, and it is loaded by another website in an iframe. So you have a website, I create a website with an iframe, and I load your website in it. What if I put a layer on it? And if you want to click on the original website, you don't click on the website, you click on my layer. And I can do something else than you expect. That's dangerous, you should not allow that. It's called click checking. And what you could do is you could give an HTTP security header that doesn't allow iframe to load your website in another website. If you do that, it's more secure. And the option is called X-frame options, same origin. A second HTTP header is the referer policy. So you still have your nice website and you link to an external website. What happens if a visitor clicks the website? The other website knows where the visitor comes from. Or the issue is that if your website is HTTPS and the link is HTTP, then it's a sort of downgrade of because it's not as good as the HTTPS. So what you can do with the referer policy is disable it. So when you say referer policy, no referer when downgrade, the person gets the visitor of your website that clicks on an external link that is HTTP will get an error. Oh yeah. Then the cross-origin opener policy, and I will show you everything on the website how to configure it. Your website. What if a visitor goes to your website, they open a second tab, and they go to another website in the second tab? So you have the tab of your website and another tab, the new website. In your new website, maybe there's some weird code that does something with the first tab. You don't want that. I think modern browsers are more protected against this kind of stuff. But the best way is to restrict this behavior. So on your website, you do something with the HTTP header that it doesn't allow other tabs to communicate with it. And it's called cross-origin policy, same origin. Another thing is the X content type options. Does anybody know what it is? Okay, yeah, if you see this, it's a lady sniffing a flower. It has to do with sniffing of content. So you have your website, and a visitor is able to upload an example.png file, because you allow images on your website. What if this example.png is not a PNG, but some JavaScript called PNG? If a second visitor opens that page where the example.php is loaded, they might get run the JavaScript. If the browser opens the PNG, it sniffs and it sees, oh, hold on, it's not a PNG, it's a JavaScript, so let's serve it as JavaScript. So then, it's run as JavaScript. To prevent that, you should do something with the HTTP header and say X content type options no sniff. So the browser of the visitor that visits your website doesn't make up what kind of file it is. A PNG file will be a PNG file and not something else that it thinks what it is. Then the permissions policy. Your website is loaded in another iframe, and the other iframe, the other website, asks for the camera or maybe the geolocation. You see that a lot. You go to a website, you get geolocation. But what if another website asks for it? You don't want that. So you want to prevent that if visitors visit your website, that you don't allow anything if you don't want it. And in this case, you have to configure the features. Actually, this policy used to be called the feature policy, and now it's called permissions policy. But so you set all the permissions in your website. So if you do like accelerometer with an empty brackets or a camera with empty brackets, it's the same as false. So you don't accept all those things on your website. So if your website is loaded by another website that asks for this thing in an iframe, then it's not your website that accepts this kind of stuff. Then the transport security, the strict transport security. So your website always is HTTPS, and you have a form on your website. What if, by some accident on the server, the connection, the SSL doesn't work anymore, so the connection becomes HTTP. The visitor that uses the form, for instance your login form, they know that it was HTTPS, but when it's HTTP, a man or a female in the middle can find out the communication between your browser and the server. So what you have to do is you have to make sure that it's only HTTPS. So you don't, if there is no SSL or TLS, you just refuse it. You do by enforcing HTTPS, by strict transport security, and then you put the amount of seconds. So max H, a lot of seconds here. And this is 6 months of seconds. And then the content security policy. This is the most difficult part of the whole HTTP headers. The first time, let's first let's show what it is. So your nice website, it has some third-party extensions like a blog where people can ask of commands or put commands. It's an old component. There were no updates anymore. They didn't use the update mechanism of Joomla. So the vulnerability is in your website, you don't know about it. And the visitor adds a bad comment. And a bad comment in this case is some comment with JavaScript. It allows JavaScript, the old component. When another visitor visits the website, the JavaScript is run. And the browser automatically runs the JavaScript. So you have to be strict. You should not allow this kind of stuff. So the content security policy, it specifies which sources you allow. Which JavaScript, with CSS, images, and even fonts. And I have here some content security policy that I use on one website. You can see that I allow matomo.php on another. It's another website, so you have to do this stuff. Yeah. Let's do first an intermezzo. So the first time I was running this on a Unit 3 website, I installed it, and I thought, yeah, the content security policy, you know what, let's do it. And also, I did some stuff in it. I didn't allow JavaScript because I didn't have JavaScript on the front end. Let's do it front end. Oh, the whole website, entire website. Save. Oops, JavaScript is not loaded anymore, which on the front end was not a problem. In my case, the back end also uses JavaScript, so I could not use the save again. It was disabled. It didn't work anymore. So what I had to do was I had to disable the plugin. So I used, I think I did it using FTP. I renamed it. I logged in. Then I renamed it back. And then because I had to set the page open, and I saved it, and then it was working again. The second thing I ran into a problem was everything worked okay on the front end. And then a colleague of me, he contacted me, not using my contact form, because that was not working anymore. My contact form had an H captcha on the website. So there's a captcha, so spammers won't be able to well, they will be less able to spam me. But because it was not accepted in my content security policy, it was not loaded, and people could not submit the form. So what I do, you have to do stuff like script source. That's for JavaScript. You can say self when you are using the JavaScript on your website itself, so it's in the same folder. Some extensions have inline script, like UTeam Pro. It has some JavaScript included, and yeah, if you do it like that, you have to put something like unsafe inline. It's not the most secure, but otherwise it doesn't work. And for instance, I have example that I have Matomo, and I have to specify that I allow Matomo script from the other server. I have the other JavaScript. It's my own server. I have it under control, so I allow it. I would be careful with JavaScript that is not in my own hands. Then when you do this kind of stuff, you also have the choice of using nonce and script hashes. Nonce means number only once, and it's a unique token. I will show it in a minute. And script hashes are, every script gets a hash, and you have to generate the hash first before using it. And it's more difficult because if the scripts change, then you have to generate it again. Okay, so let's do the configuration. First, before I do this, I will go to my Joomla user group website. I have a page. Let's just put this in here. If you use the security headers website, for the first time, you better hide the results. If you have a really bad website, it will be listed in a Hall of Shame. You don't want that. So hide results first, and when it's okay, then maybe you can do it another way. Okay. So I have a D. That's because this plugin, where is it? The plugin, HTTP security plugin, is still not published. Why do I have a D and not an F? So if I look at the security headers, F12, should I put the screen a bit bigger? Yeah. Control R, this one, and then I will. So you can see that it says no sniff, same origin, and XSS protection. It's already there. It's done on my server already. So I don't have to configure this for the second time. If I do it for the second time, you get it 2 times. It's also not good. So let's switch on. No, the header checker doesn't know about it. The header checker only knows should I communicate something or not. It doesn't check anything because it doesn't know if other stuff is doing it. So let's publish it. Let's go back to this website. And now I have a bit of an issue sometimes. Oh, now it's already C. But if I scan it again, it doesn't work anymore. Can you see? They don't want you to do it over and over and over again. But in case you still want to do it, go to the end. Question mark, something. So you have a new URL. And they scan it again. And it doesn't matter anything for the results. So there are 3 things that I have to configure. The strict transport security, the content security policy, and the permissions policy. So they explain everything on this website, what you have to do. And also they explain something about upcoming headers, the cross-origin embedder policy and the cross-origin resource policy. I have no idea what it is. When they are introduced, I will read about it and try to do it in a proper way on my websites. But they are evolving, all those headers. So you have to take care of it. So if I go back to my website, let's first go to the strict transport security, because that's most easy. I just max H, save. I go back to the website here. I hope that I can scan it. Yes. Now it's B. So it's already a bit better. So the other thing was here, is on the first tab, it says force HTTP headers. And here you can set the permissions policy. I think it was something like this. I should look in my presentation. If I go back, scan. Now I will change the URL a bit. Now it's scanning again. So A, already. 5 minutes? How long is this? But now this is the most difficult stuff, the permissions policy. This is the low-hanging fruit. So the permissions policy, when you start with it, the content security policy. When you start with it, like this, first make sure the report only is on. So it doesn't deny it already, but it reports it to you. So let's save it. Let's go back. Oh, and my cache is off, by the way. I told you in the beginning, but always check when things don't work like you want to. So I have content security on, but I didn't do anything with it yet. So it's not communicated yet. So these directives are like, now I have to check another website probably. Yeah, I have to be careful not to change it in my own website. So system plugins, HTTP headers. So here I just look at my own old settings. So, oh yeah, I start with default self. And now I get all those errors. So here, default source. Only for the site and not for the administrator. But yeah, you could do an administrator as well, of course. So now I communicate it on the front end. If I check my headers now, yeah, here. In my headers, it should say something like, where is it? I don't see it. But if I look in the console, you see all those errors here. These errors I now will solve one by one. And these are because everything is refused. Because I say, okay, I only accept things self, but I have to do it like that. So I go for the script source. So this is where I am. I do a new script source. And in this case, I say stats. I know that not the self. I keep the save inline for a minute. I might not need it with Cassiopeia. I'm not really sure. The other thing is images. Image source. I do the same. And oh, sorry. And I do also here font. Just see what happens now. Refresh. So it's less already. Not really a lot, but a bit less. It says that a hash or a nonce is required for the style, inline style. Okay, so I still have to do the inline style. Style source, like this. And the unsafe inline is not the best thing to do, but I do it now for this demo. But if you can get rid of it, so you don't see the errors, then it's better. So I still have the script source. Script source. Why is that? I thought I had script source. Oh yeah, there is also another script source thing. You have the script source and script source element. Script source element, and there was another one. Script source attribute. Let's check it now. Oh, it's getting shorter. And what if I use the website here again? Oh yeah, I can just scan it. I'm sorry? Yeah. So, oh yeah, so if I do like disable, so now it's not reporting, but it's really giving errors if it's not loaded. Then probably it says okay, but it will warn me about some stuff. Yeah, A+. But it's not really A+, because if I look here somewhere, it should say that I'm not using, yeah, I'm using save inline, which is not really safe. It's better to get rid of it. Now I will show you two things, which is the nonce and the script stuff. I'll go back. So if I go to the elements, let's go away. Let's show you first the whole website. So this is the website. Oh, you see that I have nonce here. Oh, hold on. Oh, I enabled nonce. Okay, save. Now you see it's cleaner HTML. If I switch on nonce, the number only once, and I go here, refresh. Let's bigger. You can see they all have the same nonce, which is ZTM5M, etc. If I've refreshed this page for the second time, the whole nonce will be different because it was used only once on this page, and now another nonce is generated and used on this page. And because of this nonce, this is accepted as my script. So if you have a third party that adds some script to your website, they don't know the nonce. They cannot generate a nonce because you are the only one that can generate it using this plugin. So therefore, this is a nice way to protect it with that. Oh, if I don't choose the nonce, but I would use the script hashes. Script hashes. I don't see it here. Oh, yes, thank you. It's really good to have the author of this plugin here, the developer. So here I look in with inspect network, then I refresh and I can see the page here again. And here it should communicate the, here has all those hashes. This is the SHA256 and then a hash, which is communicated here. I prefer the nonce, but you have a problem with it because now I don't have the problem, but with UTeam Pro, it adds some JavaScript inline, and I would like to get rid of all the safe inline of the unsafe inline stuff. Then it's better for your site. So this is basically how you do it. Be careful. If you did the front page of your website and you have a very nice YouTube video on page 2 in the website, you have to do something for YouTube as well. You should allow that YouTube is also allowed with scripts on your website. So you have to check all your pages if you do this. Make sure if you have CAPTCHA, check the CAPTCHAs. Fonts, please load the fonts on your website itself, not externally. But if you do externally, make sure that you're not in Germany with all those lawyers. Because I heard a lot of things about a lawyer sending threats to all people who used fonts from Google, from the Google Cloud. Do everything what you can on your own computer. And check all the external sources like YouTube, CAPTCHA, if it's still working, and only then switch off the reporting that it works like intended. Are there any questions? Or let me check. OpenStreetMap and Google.
If you had a script for a payment engine.
Sorry, you.
A lot of payment engines are driven by hosted payment engines are driven by JavaScript. So you'd specify that source as being allowed.
Yes, exactly. The question was if you have payment providers using and they have scripts, you should also allow those. So you specify what's allowed with the content security policy. It's just the policy for your website. You can do two things. The most secure thing is to specify the full path, which ends up JS if it's JavaScript. But you can also say that it's a domain. Then they accept everything of the domain, even if the domain got hacked and they put some vulnerability stuff on it. So it's better to specify everything. But if they change, your payment doesn't work. So you have to be careful with that.
So could we change the Joomla HTML helper script method or the alternative feed into the plugin? It's already in.
So when you enable the script hashes or the nonce sessions and everything that's going through Joomla, it's covered. So you have to choose one or another. So the nonce are more secure default, it's covered. With script or nonce, you have to choose one. When you use stuff outside of Joomla or within the template, on click on stuff, then you have to whitelist the hash itself manually, like Peter showed, or via another script.
So if you have third-party extensions that are bad and they don't use the HTML helper, or I think it's even better to use the what is the web WA web assets. Yeah, if you use the web assets, that's even more modern and better. If they just include it in the HTML, I mean in the default.php, and they just load the script over there, just like a link, yeah, it's not really the way to do it. You can change it, of course, in a template override. But oh, I forgot. Do I have still time? Okay. So there is one thing. It's the cross-origin resource sharing. And this is not in the HTTP security, or in the HTTP header plugin. It's something else. So you have still your nice website. You did everything with the HTTP security headers. A registered user, if they are logged in and they didn't log out, but they go to another website, maybe the other website is able to post stuff on the website where they came from, because they can maybe read cookies or something like that. So if you don't log out, you go to a website that has vulnerability and is able to get the cookie of the other website, they can try to log in and maybe post stuff under your name, under your account. And to protect this, you have the same. The same origin policy is a bit too strict for cases like APIs. If you use stuff on another domain, like I have my website DB8, and I also have Matomo, which is matomo.db8.nl, so it's another domain. If I would allow that kind of stuff, I have to do it in a different way, and there is a way in Joomla to be very strict, but also say, okay, some policies that I have under control myself, you should be more or less strict with that. And to do that, you have to go to the global configuration. So it's not in the HTTP security headers anymore. You go to the global configuration, and I think it was on the server. Did I say it correct? Yeah, here. Here you have something called enable cores. It's yes or no, and you can can make sort of exceptions. I think I have not used it myself, but it's something you have to take into account if you have your stuff on multiple domains. Maybe even if you use a CDN, I think, then you should take care of this. So, the demo time is already there. By the way, you can see this was generated with AI. I count 6 fingers. Yeah, if you look at good. 6. So anyway,
Did you ask for 6 fingers?
no. Tomorrow I will do another presentation here. It's about using AI on your local machine to generate images without using the internet. And I can make clips, not clips, but pictures with 5 fingers, or 10 if you have 2 hands. Are there any questions? Yes, Philip?
Why do you prefer the nonce to the other version?
More secure, because they are generated every time, and I think the scripts, you have to calculate the hash or something, and if the external script, if it changes, then the hash is not correct for anymore. I think it was something with that there, and therefore I used nonce. Yes?
Then that usually intercepts before it gets to your site. Can you do any of this on Cloudflare so that it would, because if you're doing HTX, it's already got to your site. So I'm wondering whether you could use Cloudflare to actually set some of these things, so it would actually stop things happening before it even gets to your site.
Well, in this case, you want to instruct the browser of your visitor what you accept and what not. So if you do it, if you can do this on Cloudflare or on your server or with this HTTP header plugin, it doesn't really matter. It's what you prefer to use. I mean, some of the things are configured on my VPS already. I don't do it double. If I do it double, then I get also a sort of error. Not an error that it doesn't load, but you can see if you use the HTTP, the securityheaders.com, it says, oh, you have one thing two times. And then you have to just disable one of those.
Cloudflare is a REST proxy, so if you do it on the VPS, you're instructing Cloudflare how to use your headers, not the browser. So if you have Cloudflare, either you say to Cloudflare proxy the headers as well, so they just copy it from the source website, or you set it on the web application firewall on Cloudflare. Okay. Those are the two ways.
So the question was, if you use Cloudflare, what should you do? Apparently, Cloudflare you are able to configure Cloudflare so that it uses original headers from your server, or that you can set it in Cloudflare itself. Is that correct? Okay, thank you, Daniel. Other questions? Okay, thank you for your attention.